Mimari üzerine bir semiotik okumaya çalışma konusuyla birlikte sizinle olacağız. Konuyu Samaneh Esfagrahi size anlatacak. Çok kısaca Türkçe özetlemeye çalışırsam, bize anlatacağı konu Rıza Şah Pehlevi'nin 1922 yılında İran'ın başına gelmesiyle birlikte değişen kültürel atmosfer, tarihten bilinir, Rıza Şah Pehlevi'nin Atatürk'le büyük dostluğu var ve onun vizyonunu benimsemiş bir yönetici. Dolayısıyla Türkiye'ye benzer bir takım hareketler, devrimler İran'da gerçekleşiyor. Bu sırada da dünyada bizim modern mimarlık olarak adlandırdığımız bir mimari stil hakim. Yeni malzemeler, yeni anlayışlar ortaya çıkıyor. Ve bu dönemde mimarlıkta Rıza Şah Pehlevi'nin yapmış olduğu kültürel farklılıklardan çok fazla etkileniyor. Ve yeni malzemelerin kullanımını, mimariye girişini benimserken bir yandan da İslami mimarinin öncesindeki topluma mal olmuş bir takım değerleri, işaretleri mimariye aktarıyor. Samaneh böyle bir süreci size anlatacak. Mimari çok etkili bir gösterge aslında. Kentlerde yürürken, dolaşırken, başka bir kente, ülkeye gittiğimizde oradaki yapıların bize ilettiği işaretleri bilinçli, bilinçsiz yorumluyoruz ve haklarında karar veriyoruz. Arkasını çok fazla bilmeyince, yani yan anlamları çok fazla bilmeyince çok farklı mesajlar alabiliyoruz. Bunları anlatacak Samane. Onun sunumundan sonra sorulacak olan soruları ben Samaneh'e sorup yanıtlarını tekrar Türkçe yapabildiğim kadar aktarmaya çalışacağım. Herkese keyifli bir Türkiye Gösterge Bilim Çevresi akşamı dilerim. Yes, Samaneh, the screen is yours.
Hello, everybody. In the name of God, welcome everybody, and thank you for attending to this event. Especially if I want to introduce myself, I should say when I was a teenager, 70 years old, I attending to classes and courses with the caricature courses. In this course, we have to design conceptual painting as an art. And for this reason, I think more and more about social and political facts. In PhD, Professor Zeynep Onur encouraged me to again think about it as an architecture. Tonight, I wanna share my information about the period of time in Iran as modernity is in Iran between 1922 up to 1979 with Pahlavi dynasty. What is the sign? As a semiotics, if you want know, signs and symbols actually are different shape of words to communicate to people who don't know one special language. These symbols usually generate in the period of time for a special group of people. Humans use these models of word to communicate to others simple than reading a text. Most of the time, science has a visual aspect, same as graphic design or photo or form. In architecture field, we have translated social or cultural science to forms due to create spaces which communicate to people. If we want to know about concept of science, we should be know that the woof and wrap of all thought and all research is symbols, and the life of thought and science is the life inherent in symbols. These sentences are in fact part of Plato's Theaetetus Cratius, which is referred to as Socrates by the Athenian citizen Hermogenes, and can be considered as the first philosophical approach of a man to the West. There is no reference to the concept. And science, what is the sign? In linguistic theory, the sign is the result of correlation. They know the signifier and signified. Charles Sanders Peirce, philosopher and American, sees the sign as something that replaces something it defines another case with a certain proportion and ability. As an architect, we should be asked this question: how architects use science for communicating to people? How architects use science? In real, architects are same as writers who use forms instead of words. They are usually creative spaces, same as one paragraph in one text. When writer use of new style for telling a story or writing a poem means that society need to new spaces also. In Iran, Nimai poem is a kind of new style of poem which write by Nima Yushij. After some social changes in Pahlavi period in Iran born a new style of poem and literature which named new poem. This kind of poem had a different style of classic in writing and meaning. In this poem, a style considered to daily life style of people instead of Hafiz poem, for example, that attention to spiritual topic. In conclusion, we are witness changes in taste of lifestyle in this period to lead new architecture. How architects use science? For better understanding of symbols' role in architecture, the best way is research about a special time in history of Iran, for example. Change is a key word in first period of Pahlavi dynasty. King in this period tried to change social and religious behavior. For this reason, we have two parts before 1922 and after 1922. People, architecture, and science. What's contribution between three words? I believe that semiotics start from people and their behavior. Whenever human belief convert to new method, some changes happen in cultural and social manner. In this time, we have find new signs or symbols. However, some routine signs may be forgotten or change their meaning. If we want to know completely about semiotics, we want to research about the roots. We emphasize that there are no direct references to the concept. After this, until Charles Sanders Peirce as a first theorian of semiotic, providing its comprehensive definition, the concept of science had various meanings in Western history, which we will try to refer to briefly. The word semiotics has its Greek roots. This science is in the realms of science and meaning research, and in fact, from vocabulary of medical science that examine the symptom of disease. It's taken by general definition. A sign is something that replaces something else. To the phrase can mean a meaning instead of something else. Iranian modernist and architecture. We should be focused on these three words. As we know, modernism in the world during the late 19th and early 20th century, modernists concentrate on the rationalism derived from the philosophy of René Descartes. René Descartes said that I think, so am I. And Galileo's physics extend to other realms of human life. Follow this philosophy in Iran after 1922. We are witness of social political changes that cause to new generation of art and architecture. These changes usually accompanied by elimination of religion symbols and also convert to ancient history signs to focus on highlighting nationality beliefs. Sociocultural changes. So many sociocultural changes in this period happened. For example, eliminate hijab by Reza Khan. In 7 January 1938-36, Reza Khan forced two Iranian women to walking in a street with different dresses. Most of the women who don't like this way have to be in her home for a long time. Women without scarf or chador in Iran were signs of modernity. This shift due to eliminate to Islamic science in social and cultural lead to Iranian modernism. Another social and cultural changes. Women in this period find new lifestyle and new role in the society. Gender study could explain about it as well when the lifestyle change in one society, how can find footprint in architecture and art. Sociocultural changes also happen. Studying in school and university for women was a great opportunity that couldn't accepted by family, however adapted to rule it was free. After Reza Khan came to power, this current penetrated deeply into educational levels. In particular, when the university was established directly using Western models and girls entered it or went to European country at higher levels with men, they fully accepted the Western way of life and thinking and later implemented and propagandas this idea. Interesting point is that so many of these changes did by women who try to improve feminine ability in society. Especially King of Iran has a wife that named Farah Pahlavi. Another socio-cultural changes also happen. The 2500th anniversary of the Persian Empire with the official name 2500th anniversary of the founding of Persian Empire by Cyrus is the name of the series of celebration on the occasion of 2500 years of the codified history of the Persian Empire during the region. It happened in 1971. The celebration highlighted Iranian Aryai roots and pre-Islamic period. We can see the movie about it in YouTube also, if it's possible. Okay, we can see this movie in the end of this lecture. Another sociocultural changes. This ceremony held on historical places in Iran in 1971 to show power and ability of Iran to another country in the world. Pahlavi and modernist symbols. We should be focused on Pahlavi and modernist symbols because architecture affected by these signs and symbols. In the architecture of the first Pahlavi period, looking at the past of Iran is selective. During these years, for the first time, the continuity of the Iranian architectural tradition is broken and attention is paid to architecture of the forgotten period, Hakhamaneshi and Sasani era. So many signs in ancient of Iran history and art used in design building in the Pahlavi era. Pahlavi and modernist symbols also happened in the entrance, in the columns, or anything else. For example, we can research about it in this slide. Of course, the architect who used to choose and use the past of Reza Shah's times are mostly non-Iranian architecture and engineer and may not be comparable to the creative architecture of the Italian Renaissance, but similar result can be seen in these two periods, including the brick. We can be seen similarity between two periods, Renaissance of Italy and Pahlavi in Iran, because in both of them, uh, art and architecture try to focus on ancient philosophy and ancient design. We want to know about some last signs. For example, at the first, in Islamic religion, people encouraged to be humble, to respect to each other, especially we can see that in our homes or our building in Iran. Pay attention to the grandeur of the building in Iranian architecture, which was influenced by Islam for uh, 40 centuries. Much attention was paid to humility. Sometimes the entrance were even considered shorter than the human head, so that the human could bow his head respectfully before arrive, before enter, for example, in the building. With the beginning of the political and social changes, and in order to eliminate the signs of Islam in Iran, the entrances were inspired by Hakhamaneshi places, tall entrance with the large stones for show the grandeur of the building. Another something happened in the entrance, use of uh, sculpture, painting, and something same as this that um, we don't have in Islamic period. Role of religion in design. Also, excuse me, same as other countries, religion eliminated little by little, step by step. With the streets, for example, that marked the extension of the capital's government over the entire border and the countryside, the fort and gates had lost their symbolic meaning. As you know, modernism attention to people and their physics needs more than spiritual beliefs. In translated Iranian cities lost day by day. Social science and architecture. In social science, we should be find so many signs and symbols, and we need new events. But uh, we are research about just, for example, one sign, nature and lifestyle. If the order of the life and consequently the architectural spaces of the past was divided according to the seasonal and natural order of the life, season of using the reserve had been collected. Houses had summer and winter dwelling. In especially in houses, we have two different spaces for winter and for summer, and people lifestyle adapted to the nature. But accompanied by civilization, some new jobs created. Same men or women employed in offices with new programs adapted to by daytime. Also, new school students also need to follow a daily routine, which is never so effective in a traditional family life. So many governmental buildings built in Pahlavi era, also these offices need to create a street due to new product of Western modernity, which named car. You can see in next slide the meaning of modernist sign in a city with the line of the street, same as cut the cake without any reason, just by the form. Also in home, we have so many changes that should be introduced in some new events or another event. But we have just one special thing. I can see that on the other hand, we then introduce of utility and sanitary elements such as water pipes and electrical wiring and arrival of the toilets, bathrooms, and modern kitchen in the houses. Fundamental changes are made in their design. As you know, in the next slide, you can see that as you know, homes usually design adapted woman need kitchen especially, which has a main role in design home before this time located out of the house, in the corner of the yard or the basement. But after change the role of the woman in society by change rule of studying, working, same as man, kitchen also convert to the main floor, and it will be assigned as a modernity home. And in material also, material, we can see so many materials, same as concrete, steels, glasses, or anything else come to Iran after modernism. But one special material in Iran used in as a structure, also as a decorative. If you attention to this facade, this is a facade of one historical homes in Mashhad of Iran. You can see so many design sculpture with bricks. Brick is very important because it's very suitable. It's for all people in Iranian, especially in the desert. People who live in the desert of Iran, same as Yazd, same as Isfahan and other cities. For this reason, people use brick every day for every building. But unfortunately, in after modernism, we have so many buildings with concrete and glasses. You can see that in next slide. Concrete, which came to Iran from the West in line with the developments of modernism in the world, was combined with stone, which was a symbol of construction ability from pre-Islamic Iranian architecture during the Hakhamaneshi period to create an architecture with contemporary Iranian architectural features. We have so many features in Iranian modernism, especially for Iran. Same as material, some material combined with modern material, and some signs combined with the modern signs, or symbols to design a new modernism special for Iranian modernism. Another last sign, I think it's arcs. Arcs really live with Iranian people. If we ask the brick itself how it wants to make a cover for us, it will say, make me an arc in this concept. Louis Kahn said these sentences, and Iranian people also use brick and arc, both of them with each other, for so many buildings. Here, Kant refers to the knowledge of the past and believes that because of their special sensibilities and thoughts, they had acquired a kind of knowledge of the inner nature of the object, materials, forms around them. We can see in next slide arcs with concrete. For example, in this photo, you can see a railway of Mashhad. Railway of Mashhad, designed in Pahlavi era, and although we have an arc, but this arc is a modern arc with concrete, not brick, or not adapted to the Iranian arc, because Iranian arc is they're very different in for drawing. I can see that in addition to the structural role, arcs in Iranian architecture play the role of beauty and decoration. The arc had become a symbol of Iranian art, especially in the desert part of Iran, where brick material were more available. But with the political changes of the Pahlavi era and special attention to the ancient architecture of Iran, a straight and vertical line and its combining with horizontal line led to the creation of modern Iranian architecture. The arc in the Mashhad railway building became a symbol of the art of making an Iranian science with modern material. The use of arcs, which was forgotten in the architecture of the Pahlavi era of Iran, revived the nostalgic sense of communication with people of the city. It's maybe the first we can see that the arc, but most of the building in famous building in Pahlavi era, we can see that combine modern, Western modern, and Hakhamaneshi architecture. Another last signs, I think, roof and decoration. We have many decoration in the ceiling, because Iranian people, especially adapted to the religion of Islam, think that sail is very important. Attention to the ceiling, attention to the roof, And for this reason, design the roof with muqarnas, with kashi, and with so many special arts. Also handwriting with stone. But in this period, we have a very simple sailing, same as just with concrete and color, just this. Uh, in religious architecture, paying attention to the sky or the roofs is in the line with the paying attention to the sky and being inspired by spiritual teaching. For this reason, sailing have been considered for their form, colors, decoration. The Pahlavi era was forgotten along with apostasy and the removal of religion symbol in architecture and society of roof decoration. On the other hand, modern human attention to human perspective has made the perspective that human being seem more important than the design of the sailing. Also, is very important, I think. Hence, we are faced with a tall building that inside the space or even outside it, the role of the roof is more of a functional and structural role. We can see that in this slide, muqarnas and kashi and design so many colors with each other to design the sailing. Um, that's forgotten now, unfortunately. And about the window, what about the window? We have so many painting in window, coloring glasses, and now we don't have this one. Windows have been a valuable part of the building in Iranian Islamic architecture, especially in desert and dry or cold or dry areas. Um, Means that, for example, Yazd, Kashan, Isfahan, and some cities who is in a desert, which is in a desert, is very important. In window is very important role in the building. The window was usually designed for religious consideration and climatic needs. A small weight usually helped the spaces to consume less energy. A social religion symbol here is a word called israf. Israf means that Muslims believe that they should save even if they can't afford it. Therefore, the windows were designed only to meet the needs, just for needs. And of course, a lot of effort was put into decorating and designing them. Sorry. But tall and large glasses in the modern puzzles that was the result of the growth of technology causes glasses and windows to become a symbol of progress and scientific and technological ability in the world, also in Iran. In the construction of the Mashhad railway, this change can be clearly seen. You can see them window, beautiful window in next slide in Shiraz and Kashan, in mosque and in homes. Also, you can compare windows in next slide between design glasses with a modern form and design glasses in a traditional form, and also dimension and proportion. Dimension of glasses usually is very little by little, and if we have a wall covered with, for example, so many glasses, we have a shadow, or we have a different color in windows. Because we want to save energy, it is very important for desert building in Iranian ancient or traditional building. Shadow is very important in Iranian architecture. Radiation beams, which were usually performed in Islamic and abstract forms, were made of wood or brick. In the Mashhad railway building, the symbols of Iranian architecture, which was forgotten in the Pahlavi buildings, has been executed using aluminium and in the outer part of the window. Also, in traditional building in Iran, we have a shadow in out of some building, but we design these shadows with wood and also with a special Islami design. You can see that in next slide. Yes, you can see that here. We have so many beautiful models to design something out of the window. And I wanna, in the end of this lecture, I wanna show you a special building in Iran that named Abgine Museum. Abgine Museum is a building with two history. The structure of the building built before 1922 and the design interior adapted to the modernism with Hans Hollein, Austrian Hans Hollein, and the Swissien group design inside adapted to the Western modern. It's very different between outside and inside. The museum building was built in the 1911 as a residential house for Ahmad Qawam and was his home and office for many years. In 1933, this house was sold to Egyptian embassy, and until 1973, it was used as Egyptian embassy. In 1976, Farah Pahlavi's office bought this Qajar mansion to set up a museum. And with the cooperation of Iranian and Austrian engineer, its renovation and improvement began. You can see some pictures here from inside. This design adapted to the modernism with respect to the structure, respect to the history of this building, and it's very important building in Iran. You can see another pictures here from the inside of the building. At the end, I wanna say thank you to everyone with me.
Yes, thank you very much, Samane, for your presentation.
Thank you, Professor.
I do not see any questions in the box, but if there is any questions or comments to be done, you may write from the chat button. Herhangi bir soru ya da öneri yahut katkı görmedim ben. Sorusu olan ya da bir şey söylemek isteyen lütfen yana yazabilir mi? Evet, soru yok zannediyorum. Do you see the questions, Samane?
Yeah, okay. Are there any indicators products with new technology in a way that is suitable for modern life, keeping cultural meaning alive? Yes, if we want to explain about last sign, we should be divided to two categories. Category one, last signs, and category two means that forgotten signs or changed signs. Some signs in Iranian architecture, Iranian modernists, changed to new definition. Uh,
Maybe
I
you can
think
talk about material and the change of material you may speak about with the modernism, Samaneh, as a change sign, but not the form. Only the material itself is changing. But as a lost sign, they are culturally alive, still meaning the same thing because culture get used to those signs that has been forgotten during Islamic architecture period, isn't it?
Maybe yes. Maybe we have a different shape of, for example, brick here now at the moment in buildings also, and it's not forgotten, but some cultural signs really forgot. For example, in so many homes in Iran, you can see the doors smaller than your height, and you should be below your head and then enter the home. But today, it's not logical for design something same as this. It's the signs of respect in Iran. Another thing, water. Water is a sign, a really important sign that design in the heart of the every homes, every houses, especially in desert houses. Also, in some cities that don't have a very warm and dry weather, again we can see that water. We can see that there were very little pools. We, in Iranian same hose uh, uh, because the water in a home is a sign of being God love us or anything else. Or also in so many rural places, people praying for rain, praying for rain because it's very common. Also now it's common. And in the ancient building also we have a god of the water, Anahita. We have a god of the water. Is very important. Water is very important, but now we don't have anything that show these signs in our houses or any building. Also museum, also public building, we can see something same as this.
Yes, thank you. There is another question related to the colors. The colors of the building were interesting, according to Alev Hocam. And she's asking that, are there any special meaning while using color? Does the color comes from the material itself, or do you use special colors to indicate or tell something as a sign, I mean?
Yes. After Islam come to the Iran, um, something avoid something same as sculpture and painting. Also now so many religious people don't like painting, especially portrait of the people, portrait of the for example dogs, animals, or anything else. For this reason, Iranian architecture and Iranian artists create a new way to design and decorate their building named Islimi. Islimi means that drawing some special painting adapted to the flowers, not animals and not humans. And then it's improved year by year, and we can see so many special design with Islami design, special lines find each other in so many points, and it helped to architecture to be creative more. And about colors, we can say that adapted to the nature, architecture use color, nature color. For example, blue, and I mentioned that water is very important. Okay, blue, same as the water, is very important because the meaning, this has a meaning of clean. This has a meaning of spiritual signs. Same as the water.
Isn't blue cannot be considered as devil eye? Do you have something called devil eye by means of blue? By means of using blue, we can protect our buildings and
Yes.
homes. Yeah,
Uh,
doesn't blue has a kind of meaning like this?
Maybe.
Your
I
culture.
think it's a sign of Turkish people. I don't know exactly in Iran, but especially in mosque, designed with blue and light. Um, is in a especially in a religion period after the Qajar affected by a modern and inter yellow and orange to this Islami design. But it's a very long story for how color started, and then what color added in, for example, Saljuqian period, and after that Ashkanian period after that, and in every period of time we have some colors as a sign.
Okay. Yani çok kısaca Türkçe'de açıklamaya çalışırsam, İslam mimarisinin bir şekilde heykel yahut insan figürleri, hayvan figürlerini yasaklaması ve onlardaki rengi yasaklaması dolayısıyla İslamik dönemde üretilenler çok fazla renkli olamıyor. Ama mavinin İran'da özellikle çok kullanıldığını, çünkü suyun çok önemli olduğunu, suyun tanrılardan bir tanesi olduğunu, o mavinin suyu yansıttığı için çok fazla kullanılan bir renk olduğunu söylüyor. Yapılardaki renkler daha çok orada kullanılan malzeme ve mevcut kum gibi malzemelerle yapılan tuğlaların kumun renginden kaynaklanan o sarı renkleri oluşuyor. Daha çok doğadaki malzemenin rengi malzeme olarak yapıda kullanıldıkça oraya yansımış oluyor. Daha çok rengin kullanımı böyle. There is an Evet, bu Göktürk Bey bir ekleme yaptı. Mavi renk zor elde edilen bir renk olduğundan dolayı Batı sanatında özellikle değerli ve uhrevi şeylerin nitelenmesinde kullanılmıştır. İran'da da öyle. Gerçekten uhrevi bir anlama sahip Samaneh'in söylediklerinden. There is another question, Samaneh. Can we see the... It was nice to
Aisha,
see Ayşe
Aisha.
Yıldız, yes.
Yes, yes, I can.
And another question from Aslı Samaneh about green
Okay.
spaces,
Uh,
the attitude, yeah.
I can understand completely. What's the difference between vernacular and modern design landscape?
No, what is the understanding of green space? Do they consider green space important both in vernacular and modern designs? Aslı is asking.
Yes, actually, in especially when you live in a desert, you don't have a water, you don't have a green area, you tree any green area, any water science is very important, especially in vernacular houses in most of the Iranian cities, same as Kashan, Kerman, Isfahan, Shiraz, and also Mashhad. Green area is very important.
Yes. And Aysel Yıldız is asking that
Yes, I can
can we see
explain about it.
reflections of
Yes,
literature to
literature.
architecture? Yeah.
I think literature should maybe it's a basement of the art and architecture, philosophy, literature, and then art and architecture. It's my point of view. Literature in Iranian modernism also changed. We have so many new romans and novels, same as Modir Madrase, so many writers, same as Jalal al Ahmad, same as
You were
so
also speaking about poets, the
yes,
change
new
of
poems,
poems.
change poems with Nima Yushij. These poems also in meaning and in writing, both of them changed. And for this reason, I think it's completely related to each other.
Yes.
Thank you.
What kind of reflections, for example? May you give example related to it? Are there
I
anything
think
in your mind?
I think modernism encourage people to think about themselves more and more. And in this meaning of poem and literature of Iranian, you can see that completely in this period of time with Nima, Yushij, or Farrokhzad. Forough Farrokhzad is a women who write something that is a taboo in Iran, for example, and it's really modern, meaning related to the women and feminine sense. And before this period, women avoid to say something about their special senses, but Farrokhzad is a poetry that writes something about it, and I think it's maybe related to the eliminate hijab, improve modernity, improve social living of women in architecture, in all around of the aspects of the Iran.
Yes, even you can speak about the women architects,
Yes.
their role in architecture. It has been changed, as you have been said, what has happened in literature or poetry also,
Yes,
isn't it?
Iranian women after Pahlavi period dressing different, has a job different, studying different, and in a one time we have a cut in the history, and we have a new generation of women who write something about private sense, same as Farooq Farrokhzad, or who design some buildings, same as Farah Diba. Farah is a wife, king's wife, and she was studied architecture in French, then married with kings of Iran and come to the Iran, and she's really try to improve cultural building, design cultural building, and make a new association, for example, for women, for kids, for disabled kids, or anything else to try to improve the social and cultural ability of Iranian women. And Farah encourage so many architecture and artists to design some museum, for example, carpet museum, for example, contemporary art museum by designed by Kamran Diba, and also you can see that Abdine Museum by Hans Hollein, and so many buildings designed with encourage of Farah Diba.
Yes.
Farah also alive now, and she's living, I think, in England, London, and she has so many good job and in good memorize in Iranian people,
Yes.
especially women.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Samane. I
Thank
think
you.
there are no further questions. So we may close the session. Thank you very much, Samane.
Thank you,
There
everybody.
are a lot of thank yous, as you will see. Yeah, good presentation. Okay.
We can say so many things. For example, just about houses, just about women and women science, and just about the social science, cultural science. But we don't have enough time, and from the every subject, just two slide, and two slide. It should be. Uh,
So we will host you again for you to explain those changes also.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Maybe in future.
So good evening, good night to everybody else. İyi akşamlar herkese. Katıldığınız için çok teşekkür ederiz.